Hey guys, so this is my update, my latest update for my sub 90 goal. I want to get a sub 90 half marathon, and I set this goal about 8 or 9 months ago. And the point of the goal is really to demonstrate how we use various coaching tools at Real Meal Revolution to actually follow through on a goal. So obviously, like I've hit my ideal weight, and I wanted to set a goal that I think is really, really difficult, and then show you in real life like what problems come up and how I deal with them using all the coaching tools that we use at Real Meal to help people lose weight. And I'm really glad that it hasn't been plain sailing. So there are like 6 other articles that I've written to date. I started writing, like I said, 9 months ago. And my previous best time was a 1:53 half marathon. And that I ran when I was 20 years old. So I'm 36 now. And so, about 2 years ago, I ran a half and I did like a 2:03. And in fact, the best half marathon I've run in the last sort of 15 years, even through training for Ironman and swimming from Mozambique to Madagascar, it's always been about 2 hours. So I just want to give you an idea, like a sub 90 half marathon is not an easy goal. This is like a really tough goal. And I wanted to basically like change my relationship with running from being a weekend warrior where I can like hack around to being like a serious runner, because sub 90 is like a proper goal. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you a little bit about like what's been going on, and just give you a recap, and then I'll tell you where I stand at the moment. So I'm going to make this little icon smaller. So this is my running profile on Strava, and I'll put a link into the article so that you can actually watch the video. So that you can come and follow me on Strava while I go for this goal. But this is my running for the last year. And so this is time. So that's like June 2020 during lockdown. And then you can see like how many kilometers I ran on each week. And what you'll see here, which I blogged about previously, was when I got COVID. And so I got COVID at the end of December. And in that week between Christmas and New Year, I was down. I couldn't run or anything. And then I actually blogged about this like crazy depression that I got. I was like totally paralyzed. I was like, I just didn't want to do anything. I felt like crap, total crap. Emotionally, mentally, physically, I just didn't really want to move. So I went through some of the motions and I went for like walks and stuff, but exercise really didn't agree with me. And there's a link to that article in this post. And so up until then, I hadn't actually done a 21K time trial. So my last article was about how to kind of like pull yourself out of a dark place where you think your goals are falling apart. Now, obviously, I set this goal in sort of August, and then immediately I got hit with hiccups. So I would have been injured. I had like an issue with my toe. I had to have like cortisone injections in my toe. So it's almost like the moment I invited this goal into my life, I invited like everything that could possibly go wrong to upset the goal. And it was only in mid-November where I started to gain some traction and actually start picking up the mileage. And then boom, all of a sudden, early December, my toe was unplayable, and so was my foot. I had a plantar fasciitis, which is a strained tendon in the bottom of my foot, and I had to go for an injection in my toe. And then, as I was recovering from the injection in my toe, I went and got COVID. And so I just spent 2 months basically with no training. And so this foundation of like 6 weeks of building up was sort of lost. Anyway, so through February, I kind of had a good week and a bad week, and then slowly but surely my mileage picked up, and then something amazing happened. So I started to feel really, really good on the running front, and I was sticking to the training schedule my coach had given me. And then in this week, I ran a time trial. So I want to share with you what my time trial looks like. So I did a 1:38 half marathon. And so let me tell you something else. The very first hiccup of this half marathon is that I finished the half marathon and I saw 21 kilometers on my watch and I pushed stop. And so Strava won't recognize that it was a half marathon, because a half marathon is actually 21.1 Ks. So I did this incredible personal best of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and it doesn't count. well, it doesn't count because it's not actually a half marathon. But these are my stats: best 20 kilometer effort, best 10K effort, best 15K effort, and best 10K effort. So that means in this half marathon, I got 3 personal bests for different distances. And what you can't see here is I also got a personal best for a 5K. And I ran that in the last section. So over here, I ran a 4:18, a 4:19, a 4:10, a 4:12, and a 4:15. And I think that works out to like a 21 minute and 12-second 5 kilometer, which is the best 5K I've ever done in my whole life. So this run was like unbelievable. It was the best run I think I've ever had. I chose a very flat route near our holiday house in Betty's Bay. And it was so hectic that at the 15K mark, in fact, during this hectic 5Ks, my chest actually closed up. And while I was breathing, it was going. So I was literally like using everything I could to try and get like air into my lungs, and my chest was closing up. But I just like kept giving everything, absolutely everything I had. And my heart rate was like, I think I had a heart rate of 191 at one point. I think it goes up to 191. There we go. It was 191. So like, as far as a physical effort goes, not a performance compared to other runners, but for me, for my physical effort, like this was me absolutely emptying the tanks. I've never run like this before. And so I actually became quite emotional during the run because of everything I'd been through. I had been through the COVID depression. I had been through the injured toe. I'd had issues with like a knee and back, and like I'd had flu and cold. Like everything that could have gone wrong had gone wrong, and I managed to like pull this out the bag and do it. So I was super stoked. But then something ridiculous happened, and this is so typical of everyone on a weight loss journey, and in fact, many people with many goals do this. So I did the best performance I'd ever done in my entire life. And instead of resting and letting my body recover, the next week, so this is the week that I did that 21K, the next week I did extra mileage. In fact, I didn't just do extra mileage. I did the biggest week I have ever done in my whole life on Strava. I ran 54 kilometers. And I climbed 1.8 kilometers. So, and the climax was actually on the Sunday. So on the Sunday, I did this run from Llandudno to Hout Bay, and it was quite a chill run, 17 Ks, but the climb was like 832 meters up the back of this ridge. And I remember like at the end of the run, I was absolutely broken. I remember saying to my mates, here's the run, by the way, over the top of the back end of Table Mountain, and down into Constantia Neck. And you can see here the times are a joke, like a few kilometers at 16 minutes, 18 minutes. And even at the end, when we were running like down the mountain, the fastest pace I could get to was like just under 5 minutes a K. I was absolutely broken at the end of this week and at the end of this run. And so what you'll see is the next week on my schedule, I actually couldn't run. I was stuffed. I remember I canceled my appointment with my bio on the Wednesday, and the following week, the most I could handle was 19K. So that's like 2 mellow runs. Yeah, I did a 12K, which was super flat, and then a little mountain run. And then the following week, I went up to 33Ks, which is actually really chilled compared to what I had been doing before. So I only just bounced back, but my times were terrible. I felt pup and lazy. And I just said to my coach, like, I actually can't do this. I'm still broken. And so the lesson for me here is a lesson that I have known and a lesson that I give to people all the time, which is this lesson that my friend Thane and I came up with when we were running, when we were doing Ironman. And the golden rule of Ironman, we used to say, is when you're feeling good, slow down. Because so often when you're feeling good, you think, oh, feeling great. Now's the time for me to turn on the gas. And actually turning on the gas and pushing yourself too hard when you're feeling good just empties the tanks. And so I completely empty the tanks, and I've actually put myself back far before this level of fitness where I was able to perform at my best. In fact, my coach and my bio both suspect like I'll only be able to do another time trial in like 3 or 4 months because of how broken my body is. So one of the things you get from pushing yourself like that is a thing called central nervous system fatigue. But it parallels on the weight loss front. We're looking at building habits, and what so often happens is we get stuck into like this amazing habit, and we're feeling good and everything's perfect. And then what we feel like we need to do is throw like extra weight or extra hay or straw onto the camel's back. And so if we've had an amazing week of fasting, immediately we think, okay, next week I'm going to do fasting and I'm going to like cut out a whole food group. Or if I'm feeling really good at cutting out a food group, I'm going to cut out this whole extra thing. And what happens is you overwhelm yourself and fall off. So the real learning for me in this is that even though I thought I was like super fit, it's common logic that if you've given the best effort you've ever given in your entire life, the right thing to do is rest and recover. And so if you've had 1 week where you have eaten better than you've ever eaten in your entire life, the worst thing you can do at the end of that week is like up the ante. The best thing you can do is consolidate. And so I challenge you to celebrate having an epic week by consolidating and just trying to stick to that same level. And usually when it comes to habit forming, the least amount of time you're looking at is like 4 weeks, and sometimes up to 12 weeks to just build one habit. So the golden rule of Ironman is when you're feeling good, slow down. And I'm going to say to you that the golden rule of any personal development project is that when you're feeling good, slow down. So I hope that was useful. Please follow me on Strava. All the support and encouragement you can give me really makes a difference. When people like my runs and comment and say, wow, Jonno, that's great, or I'm jealous you get to run in the forest, anything helps keep me motivated. And I want to break a sub 90 half as soon as possible. So I hope that helped. Have a good day. Check you later. Bye.